With the National League North starting this weekend, it's time I revised my prediction, which I did a couple of weeks ago. So I had Macclesfield winning the title, I had Fylde, Chester, Kidderminster, Spennymoor, Hereford and Scarborough in the playoffs. I had Alfreton Town, Chorley, Curzon Ashton, Bedford and Kings Lynn all in the playoff race, with Southport 13th, Darlington 14th, Buxton 15th, South Shields 16th, Telford 17th, Peterborough Sports, Oxford City and Leamington staying up, with Merthyr Town, Marine, Worksop Town and Radcliffe going down. So I'm going to go through them all in order. I'm going to go 24th up to 1st, and I'm going to base it on my last prediction, which means we would talk about Radcliffe first. I put them bottom because at the time of recording my last prediction, they hadn't really brought a lot of players in, and they did struggle last season. Finished just a couple of places above one place above the relegation zone. They brought in Dan Gardner and John Taylor. They've brought some good signings in. They've lost a few as well. I just think this league's going to be a lot stronger this season. So they're not bottom anymore. Sadly, I still think Radcliffe are going to go down, but I think of the relegated teams, they're going to put up the most fight. So I've put Radcliffe in 21st, which unfortunately means they're relegated. But before I didn't give them a hope. Now I think they're going to be in a fight. And after Radcliffe, we've got Worksop Town, newly promoted. I think I put Worksop Town in the relegation zone because they were one of the 24 that I didn't know a massive amount about. I did have a few comments that say that they think Worksop Town will be okay. Looking into them, I think they've brought in some good signings. They've kept the core of their squad that got them promoted with Macclesfield last season. So Worksop have changed quite a lot. I think there's 2 teams that have made a massive jump, 3 teams that have made a massive jump even. And I think Worksop Town are going to be one of them. I actually, from putting them relegated, I've got them just sort of the lower mid-table. I've got Worksop Town in 15th. I think they've got some funds behind them as well. I think that if things start to get tough, they can make those changes. And I was worried about them before, but I think they'll be okay. Worksop Town 15th. Let's talk about Marine then. Finished 14th last season, a comfortable season. I think, if I'm honest, they overachieved. They haven't really brought a lot of players in, but they've kept the majority of their squad. Had them going down last time because I think the league has got stronger around them, whereas I don't think Marine have done enough to stay up. And I still think they're going down. I still don't think they've done enough to stay up. So I've got Marine finishing 23rd, unfortunately relegated. So Merthyr Town came up last season. They won the Southern League Premier Division South. Virtually no transfer activity, which worries me about Merthyr. I think you need the step up from step 3 to step 2 is huge, and a lot of clubs they make a lot more signings and they still come straight back down. So I think Merthyr Town are going to struggle. They could shock a few people. I don't think many people expected them to get promoted to this division, but I've got Merthyr Town going straight back down. I've got them bottom, so that's 3 of my relegated 4 sorted. Now, a team that a lot of people put down in their predictions, I've seen Leamington relegated a few times. I put them just above the relegation zone last season. They finished in 15th. They brought a lot of signings in from the lower leagues, which I think are kind of gamble signings. Not sure whether they'll be good or not. They've kept the core of their squad. And I have seen a lot of predictions that relegate them, but I think Leamington always have a way of staying in the division. As I said before, it is going to be a tough division. It's going to be really difficult. The teams are strengthening a lot. But I've got Leamington in 20th place, so staying up at the expense of Radcliffe. Oxford City, I had 19th last time. They finished 18th. They've lost more players than they've brought in. I'm not sure if there's any truth in it, but I heard that they might have gone pro this season. Without bringing the transfers in, though, I can't see a massive increase. I have increased them a little bit because I think they had a decent enough squad to stay up last season. I still think they're going to be good enough to stay up again. So I've got Oxford City in 18th place. which takes us to Peterborough Sports, who are probably one of the smaller clubs at this level who constantly overachieve. They finished in 11th place they finished in 12th place last season. Again, like Leamington, they've brought a lot of players in from the lower leagues. A few players gone. I think they are going to drop down the table, but are they really going to be threatened by the relegation zone? I don't think so. So I've got Peterborough Sports sitting in 16th place, which brings us to Telford United, promoted through the Southern League Premier Central playoffs last season. More players out than in. I think Telford have bounced between this Step 2 and Step 3 for quite some time now. I think that's going to continue that trend. I did put them 17th initially, but I think some of the clubs around them have strengthened, whereas Telford haven't. Unfortunately, as much as I want to see them stay up, I've got Telford in 22nd and going straight back down. I don't like to see the newly promoted sides go straight back down, but Telford will, I think. That'll join Merthyr going straight back down. Telford 22nd. South Shields brought a few players in, kept majority of their squad, finished mid-table last season. I had them 16th in my earlier prediction. I think South Shields are going to have a better season than they did last season. I think anyone from about 6th to 14th, 15th could get into the playoffs. It's going to be that close a division. But I've got South Shields 12th. I think places-wise, that's quite a long way behind the playoff places, but I think they are going to be close in terms of points. So South Shields 12th. Brings us to Buxton. I did have a few comments about where I put Buxton in the table. I put them 15th before. I did say I thought they'd overachieved. Probably naivety on my part, really, that I didn't massively look into the changes that had happened at Buxton. They have just gone pro. They finished 6th last season, or 7th rather, just getting into the playoffs there. I said they overachieved. Since they've gone full time in, that was the start of last season. They've signed Ryan McLean from AFC Wimbledon, but also they've signed Sammy Robinson and Tate Campbell from Hereford as well. Kept almost all of the squad. I still don't think Buxton are going to be strong enough to breach the top 5, the teams I've got in the top 5, but I think they're going to be the best of the rest. I've got Buxton in 6th place, which is where I put my own club last time. So Buxton in 6th into the playoffs. They're going to have a strong season. I'm actually at Buxton in a couple of weeks' time. Buxton against Hereford. I'm at that one. So I'm really looking forward to it because I've never been up to their ground before. After Buxton, I had Darlington in 14th. They seem to have raided Gateshead, as Gateshead seem to be having some financial troubles. And I think Darlington could be an outside shout for the playoff places. I don't think they'll get into the playoffs. I think there are a lot of stronger teams than Darlington in the league. I've got Darlington finishing 11th, but like I said, anyone from 6th to about 14th could get into the playoffs. So points-wise, I think they'll be very close. Darlington 11th place. I then had Southport in 13th. Southport, a little bit above the relegation zone last time. They've lost a lot of their squad. Signed a few players, but from the leagues below, so it's almost like gambling with lower league players. I don't think they'll be relegated. I've seen a few predictions that put them down, but I think they will be fighting it. I think they'll be in the relegation fight with Oxford City and Leamington. I've got Southport just above Oxford City, so I've dropped them down a few places, and I've got Southport in 17th place. So if you're a fan of any of these clubs I've talked about so far, drop a comment as what you think of my prediction. I guarantee I won't keep everyone happy. I guarantee I'll probably only get maybe 2 or 3 of these right. After Southport, I had Kings Lynn. I put them in 12th. They made the playoffs last season. Huge amount of signings. They seem to have signed players from everywhere. They have lost a lot of players as well, but I think Kings Lynn are going to be the most improved team this season, in my opinion. I think a lot of these signings happened since my last prediction. So I actually think Kings Lynn have gone from a mid-table team to a playoff chasing team. And I think they could fight for the title. I wouldn't be surprised if they fight for the title. So I think the top two are going to be, they're going to be too strong for anyone else to breach, but I've got Kings Lynn Town in third, which I think they've got to be happy with. That would give them they'd skip the playoff eliminator as well. Kings Lynn Town third into the playoffs. Let's talk about Bedford Town, newly promoted and very ambitious Bedford Town. They've kept the majority of the squad that won the Southern League Premier Division Central last season. Brought quite a few players in as well. Hugely ambitious. I think maybe it is a step too far to expect them to get into the playoffs, but I think they'll be up there. I think they'll be above my own team. I think Bedford Town are going to be really strong, and I think if things aren't going their way, I think they've got the finances to change things during the season. So they're my outside pick for the playoff places, Bedford Town and Darlington. And I think Bedford will be better than Darlington. I've got Bedford Town in 8th place, just outside the playoffs. If it's as close as it was last season, there was about 6 teams separated by a point inside and outside the playoffs. I know we finished 10th and missed out by a single point. So Bedford Town, 8th. Curzon Ashton, I put them 10th last time. Nothing's really changed at Curzon Ashton in pre-season. I think with the teams at the top end of this table all looking to strengthen, I think Curzon Ashton are going to see the league strengthening around them. They haven't really done that. I think they're going to drop off quite a lot in this coming season. I don't think they need to worry, because I don't think they'll be anywhere near the relegation zone. I think they're too good for that. But I've put them in 14th place, so not a great season for Curzon Ashton. After Curzon was Chorley, I put them 9th. They did sneak into the playoffs last season. They didn't really sneak into the playoffs. They were above Kings Lynn and Buxton. Very little transfer activity, and the same with Curzon Ashton. I think the league's kind of strengthened around them. You've got teams like Bedford coming up, you've got Macclesfield coming up, Darlington have strengthened, South Shields have strengthened well. I think Chorley will be up competing alongside the playoff places again, but I just think they're going to fall short this season. So Chorley 9th. I had Alfreton Town in 8th. They've just had a takeover recently. I think maybe I was a bit ambitious with Alfreton Town. They seem to have lost more players than they've brought in. And yeah, I think 8th place was a bit ambitious. I think the new owners are looking to push Alfreton on into the National League, but I don't think it's going to be this season. So I've moved Alfreton Town down. I've moved them into 13th place. Which brings me to the 7 teams that I've put in the playoff places and promotion places. Let's talk about Scarborough Athletic first. Because before I did this prediction, Scarborough looked fine. They were fairly strong. I mean, they fell away towards the end of last season. But since, they've brought nobody in at all. They don't even have a ground to play at the moment while theirs is being developed. They're sharing with Bridlington Town at the moment, so they don't have a home. I think Scarborough are in for a really difficult season. I think they're in for a really tough season. I think points wise they were very close to the playoffs last season, but this year's going to be difficult. They could even go down, but I've got Scarborough 19th. I've got them just above the relegation zone. I think the squad they had last season is good enough to keep them in the league. So Scarborough 19th, but they'll face a tough battle with Oxford City, Leamington, Radcliffe, all the teams down there. And if they get off to a bad start, and if they get left adrift, could see Scarborough dropping to step 3. After Scarborough, we come to my own team, Hereford. I put them in 6th. That was very ambitious. I was deliberately really ambitious about Hereford. Since I made that prediction, I've had a few people comment, particularly Buxton fans. If you're watching, you know who you are. But you're right. Buxton are going to be higher than Hereford. We've lost Cisse to Spalding United. We've brought in Cisse from Notts County, who I haven't seen play yet. Brought in Chris Ray, who played for Scunthorpe, who looks promising. Kai Williams from Tamworth. We've brought players in, but we've also lost a lot of quality. Like Jason Cowley's gone to Hales Owen. I think that was his choice rather than the club's choice because he wanted to play. Robinson and Campbell have gone to Buxton. So I think that they've strengthened. The thing that worries me about Hereford, we look solid at the back, so I don't think we're going to leak many goals. But I think we struggle to create chances. So I don't think, I mean, we might be competitive, but I don't think we'll be in the playoff places. I've put Hereford in 10th. What's happened to my microphone there? I'll just sort this out. Sort of drop down my shirt. There we go. So after Hereford, I had Spennymoor Town in 5th. I think they're looking strong. They kept most of their squad. We play them on the opening day. We go to Spennymoor. I'm actually up in Carlisle. I'll be in Inverness by the time they play, so I'll be up that part of the country. Spennymoor away is a really tough fixture to start. I said they'd be an outside chance for the playoffs, and I think they will. I think Spennymoor will get the playoffs. They're always in and around them. Haven't really lost that many players. So I've put Spennymoor Town in 7th. So getting a playoff place. Brings us to the top 4, or my previous top 4. I had Kidderminster Harriers 4th. They brought in Adam Murray, who replaces Phil Brown. He's brought in lots of strong looking signings, but they've lost a lot of players as well. I still think with Kidderminster being full time and always in and around, I mean, they were in the National League a couple of seasons ago. I don't think Kidderminster will win the title. I think they are going to fall short, but I've got Kidderminster Harriers in 2nd. Which brings us to Chester. So I put Chester 3rd. They've brought in a lot of players, lost a few. Chester were a game away from winning promotion last season when they lost to Scunthorpe in the playoffs. And I think this year they do go one better. I think Chester finished the season very strong last season. So Chester are my favourites to go up. So I've put Chester as the champions. My last prediction had Macclesfield competing with Fylde for the title. You might have noticed that's changed. So Fylde was 2nd. They are the one team that came down into the National North from the National League. They are always up there when they come down. Again, they sort of bounce between step 1 and step 2. They've lost a lot more players than they've brought in. I think undoubtedly Fylde are going to still be up there, and I think it's almost a given that they'll be in the playoffs. I can't see them falling any further than that. But I don't think they'll break into the top 3, so I've put Fylde 4th. What about Macclesfield? I was so confident of Macclesfield winning this league last time I made this prediction. I was so confident. Since I made my prediction, Robbie Savage has gone to Forest Green. He's raided them. He's brought in 3 of their key players, Pemberton, Kenny and Mendy. So he's ripped out the core of their squad. And I still think Macclesfield are going to be strong, but I don't think they're going to be anywhere near as strong as I first said. So Macclesfield Town still in the playoffs, but 5th. So let's recap then. We've got Chester winning the title. We've got Kidderminster 2nd, Kings Lynn 3rd, Fylde, Macclesfield, Buxton and Spennymoor having a playoff eliminator. So we'd have Fylde against Spennymoor, Macclesfield against Buxton, which would be a hell of a game. Bedford Town, Chorley, Hereford, Darlington just outside the playoffs. South Shields, Alfreton, Curzon, Ashton, Worksop in the middle. Peterborough Sports, Southport, Oxford City, Scarborough and Leamington just above the relegation zone, with Radcliffe, Telford United, Marine and Merthyr Town going down. So let me know what your predictions are in the comments below this video. Make sure you're subscribed to my channel if you haven't already. Let me know who you support as well. I know I've got Buxton fans on here. I know I've got Hereford fans on here. And I'm about to go and predict the National League South as well, which is even harder to predict than this one. So, I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Boop, 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 boop.